Marriages fail all the time.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Because it's not just about the Instagram proposal, or it's not just about the wedding day.
Yeah.
It's about building a partnership. And in order to do that, you need to have some conversations that don't just scratch the surface, but go a little bit deeper. Okay? Because if we're going to build a life together, it gotta go deeper.
Yes. And the great thing is, the deeper you go, the higher you go. Because as you said, it's much more than a day. This is about a lifetime.
Yeah. So this month, we're going to bring you not one, not two, but 3 videos of conversations that ideally you would have before you walk down the aisle. But guess what? Even if you've walked down the aisle, there is still time to have these conversations. Wherever you are in your marriage, that's where you start. We're going to start today.
Yes. So what are we starting with today then?
Everyone's favorite, finances.
Yeah.
Finances. And I'm not just talking about, like how much you make or what job you want. No. Finances go so much deeper than that. And this week, we're going to tackle that.
Yes, because love may have brought you together, but it's going to take communication at a deeper level to get you where you want to go.
All right, guys. Welcome back. My name is Gleesy.
And I'm Al.
And here at Forever I Do, we teach you how to brag.
Build your relationship
according to God. So, it's some conversations that need to be had.
Who's going to take care of the bills in a relationship?
Oh, are you talking about our conversation about money?
Yeah, this was our conversation.
Oh, Al's good with the finances, so he's going to take care of the finances.
It can't just be the topical. When we say talk about money, you got to not only talk about who's going to pay the bills and how you're going to pay the bills jointly or together, if that's your decision, but you also got to talk about your values around money. Your financial goals, like what is it that you're trying to accomplish?
Yeah.
How are you making your money work for you? And it has to be, again, some transparency. You got to share some things, some stories about that debt, some stories about those credit cards that were in your mama name and your baby sister name and the name that ain't real. Like, you got to talk about some things, and it has to be all encompassing. Because you don't want to enter into marriage with some secrets, especially not the financial kind.
Yeah, you don't want surprises. It's so important that you talk about those things, because a lot of times what happens, and from what we have seen with couples, is usually you have 2 different people or 2 different financial personalities coming together. So you have a spender and a saver. Yes. You like how I did it? I said you were a spender and I was the saver.
I didn't even know what she was saying when she was tapping me.
But that's real. Most of the time, it's not 2 savers or 2 spenders coming together. You have somebody that really enjoys having a good time and somebody that is more frugal and understand the value of money that are coming together. So it's so important that you are able to identify those personalities and figure out how you guys are going to work together.
Because those personalities aren't a deal breaker.
Right.
It just means that you are entering into marriage with 2 different ideas, 2 different focuses. And when you bring them together and you strategize on how you're going to, again, make your money work for you, it's all the better because you are seeing it from 2 different angles.
Yeah, it's like your superpowers align. Yes. I always say, like, I'm in charge of fun in the house. Like, I'm going to make sure we have a good time. But I also need him to make sure that we're preparing for the future or an emergency and things like that. So, like, us coming together creates well balance.
Yes. And it makes it so that, again, you have a strategy and not a financial surprise. You don't want things popping up on you that you never planned for, that you never saw coming. You're planning for your future home and that down payment. And she was planning for her dream car of one day owning the Range Rover, and the money that you thought y'all were saving to put a down payment on a home, she drives it home one day in the form of a new car. And now you're like, what just happened here?
Yeah.
A financial surprise that could have been avoided had you had a strategy for your money. Again, you got to talk about all of it.
Yeah.
The strategy, your income. What are you making? What are you
Mhm.
bringing to the table? That shouldn't be a secret either. Like you should know what each other is bringing into the financial relationship.
Mhm.
You got to talk about the debt.
Yeah, that's so important.
You got to talk about your credit score.
Mm.
Your credit score is an indication of your financial responsibility. How are you paying your bills? How are you tackling your debt? So it can give you a little insight into your spouse's or your future spouse's relationship with money. And again, that may not be a deal breaker. That's a conversation that needs to be had.
Yeah, and it doesn't. Yeah, I agree that it's not a deal breaker, but it can be a deal breaker if it's 5 years from now, and then or let's say not five,
Yeah.
because it probably before then. But like, say you're 6 months in, and you guys will say, okay, we're going to buy a house, but then you go to apply for that loan, and it's just like, what in the world is all of this stuff? It's so much easier to
Yeah.
just be honest up front. And I speak from experience. Like, man, it's just such a heavy weight
Yeah.
when you're carrying something, especially hiding it from your spouse. It just creates this extra pressure that you don't need. And if this is the person that you truly want to spend the rest of your life with, it's important to be able to embrace those conversations and have them and trust that your spouse will know what to do with it.
Don't let shame and pride
Yeah.
and all of those things stop you from sharing something that, again, will help you lay the financial foundation for your future.
Yeah, because like I feel like I did not have the best financial habits going into marriage. And I feel like over time, my financial habits have gotten a lot better, but it's because eventually
It was laid out.
it was laid out. You hear me say eventually? Eventually it was laid out, and he was able to help me with it. You know, he was able to help me see it from a different perspective, and it really truly has impacted our financial
Yeah.
conversations.
So the point is, have those conversations early. Talk about those financial goals. Talk about whether or not you want to invest. How do you want to invest?
Mhm.
What does that look like? Do you want to own a home? Because we talked about, like, again, like saving up to own a home. Is that in your financial future? Because while the debt and things like that may not be a deal breaker, if you have two different ideas of finances and what you want for your financial future, that may be the deal breaker. Like when we say finances are the number one reason for stress and divorce, it's not a lack of money. It's just a lack of agreement about money.
Yeah.
So do you want to own a home? Do you want to travel? Do you want to retire one day? Like, have all of those conversations, because the way you deal with money today sets the tone for how you will handle all of these situations in the future. You don't want to add pressure to what can already be a pressure situation entering into marriage.
Yeah.
So that's the number one topic.
Yeah, that's so good. And you want to have that strong foundation.
Yes.
If you do the work up front, it just makes everything else fall into alignment.
So real talk.
Real talk.
I mean, this was a deep conversation.
Yeah.
And these conversations may feel uncomfortable in the beginning, but avoiding them will only cause pain or deeper levels of pain later on down the line. And we're not just saying this because it's something we heard.
Yeah.
It's something we experienced. So again, don't avoid it. Dive in.
Yeah.
As we mentioned in the beginning, the deeper you go, the higher God can take you.
Yeah, so guys, thank you so much for joining us in this video. If you haven't, go ahead and subscribe. Remember, this is the first video. So we want you to take this week, digest this video, and have that intentional conversation with your spouse this week.
And remember this, healthy marriages are built on honesty, vision, and shared values, not just feelings.
All right, we'll see you in the next one.
Brag on it.